like, I am going to be, I'm not going to say the next Disney because, I mean, come on, as we know, but I am going to be a great storyteller that will be compared to Disney, compared to George Lucas and stuff like that. The amount of abundance and the amount of energy that my work is going to bring is going to surpass them. But the difference is where they'll make $10 billion and it'll go to their corporations and it'll go to their shareholders and just that. Where I make the tens of billions, it is going to go to, yes, it's going to go towards a corporation to build it. But now you have to understand that when the money goes into the corporation to build it, it's because basically if my offices are in Texas or in Texas. If my offices are like in Mississippi, right? Only people that are going to be within that area are going to be employed there. So understand that every financial institution, every financial vehicle, or every business that I'm opening is there to benefit the community. And the reason for that is because, like, on all my things, it's called, like, what is it? The 30-30-30-10 plan, right? So for any profit that any of my businesses are going to make, right? 30% are going to go to the vehicle in which that made the money. So like if I open up a restaurant, right? So 30% of the profits are going to go back into the restaurant to make sure that it has money for reserves, for improvements, and just like that, right? Then 30% is going to go to the people who actually operate the vehicle. So that means 30% of the profits goes evenly distributed to managers, workers, wait staff, stuff like that in terms of a restaurant. Because if you're the one that's operating the machine, that means that energy that I'm pulling in only happens because of you. I'm not one of those like, oh, I can get anyone to do it, because I worked retail for many years. So I know all employees aren't the same. I understand while the job that may be simple, but the person behind the job, the energy that person brings is not the same. Because if you have someone who's not emotionally aware of themselves or can handle that confrontation or those energies that customers are going to bring in, I've worked retail for 15 years. And when you understand energies, you understand that you're in a petri dish where the demons are just coming at you, bro. Right? They're coming at you. And if you're not able to defend it, like, that's why I'm like this. Right? 7 years at Best Buy. I don't work there no more, so I can say it now. 7 years at Best Buy made the warrior that you see today. Right? So, but you understand that when I understand that aspect. So I will never in my businesses ever think that, oh, I can get anyone to fill your job. No, bro, because if I feel your energy, if I know, like, it's different. So 30% of the profit that particular thing makes is going to you. Because, again, economic policy, my economic policy is grandma's house. I grew up in Queens, Southside Jamaica, 1990s. What's up? Grandma's house. Everybody eats. That's my policy, right? So 30% goes back into the company or the vehicle. 30% goes to those who operate the vehicle. Then 30% goes to those who are invested in the vehicle. Now, those are going to be like the shareholders and stuff like that. Now, my idea is this, right? My idea is this. That when I'm opening up an establishment or a thing in a neighborhood, I would go to a 20-block radius, which I will call like a territory. And I'm going to tell them, like, hey, listen, how you doing? My name is so-and-so. This is what I do. This is what I'm planning to do. This is the type of business as it is. This is the projected revenue that we're thinking of making and stuff like that. I'm here because I'm going to be opening up a business in your community. And I want to make sure that that business has your best interests at heart and that you benefit from that as much as that. So I'm offering everyone an opportunity to buy into the restaurant or to the business that I'm making. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm just a guy coming to your door asking you for money. Listen, I'm only asking for either one. I mean, you can invest as much as you want, but we're just asking people for at least $1. The reason for that is because if you have that $1 invested in that restaurant, when that dividend check gets cut out every single month or every single quarter, you get $1 worth of that. Now, granted, you're going to be kicking yourself if, like, hey, your friends are making like, $100, $200 and you're making like 25 cents because you only did like the dollar or whatever. But now that you know that, the next time that I come to you, because I'm not just looking to open that one business in your area, I'm looking to open like a plethora of businesses in the area, right? So now the next time that I'm coming to you, you're going to be like, nah, bro, here you go, because you know what it is. Because my job is this, right? because this is a spiritual warfare. So we got to be tactical about it. A lot of people, when you're talking about this, or even taking back the country, right? We have to understand that we're not going to take the country back by this, by that. We have to be strategic about it. First and foremost, there are entities out there that are draining the energies of the people in the neighborhoods. Those are your corporations, those are your stores and stuff like that. Now, it's not the people who work in the stores. It's not the people who work in the corporations at the local level and stuff like that. They are just being used for their energy to run the ideas of the entities, right? Even the people at top are still controlled by the entities, right? But the thing about those entities, they can only exist if there is power given to them, right? And they can never force that power. It doesn't work. It has to be given. It has to be willfully given. And they do that because they create the environment where there's no other choice. So of course it's given. If that's the only supermarket in your area that you can afford, okay, yeah, the food may not be the best, but it's the only supermarket in the area that I can afford. So yes, I'm going to willingly give my money to it because I have no other choice, because I still have to provide and stuff like that, right? So now here comes me coming through. I want to get to that, especially with the lower income communities, because I got something for that on some real stuff. So now here I come in, right? I'm going to open up a grocery store. So I'm going to say, hey, cool, I'm opening up a grocery store. I'm going to come to the neighborhoods. I'm like, yo, guys, listen, I know this is like a low income area, this, that, and the other. I'm asking for like maybe like $10, right? $10 from everyone so we can help build this grocery store so you guys can get income, like monthly income. Like, so when you invest in any of my company, like whenever one of my businesses is going to open up in your area, my job is to give you like a universal basic income just because my stuff is in your area, because I know my business doesn't work without you. I understand that when you come either work at my business or you shop at my business, it is only working with your energy, so it's only fair that you get it, because I'm trying to work universally. Whatever you give me, I'm trying to flip it and give it back to you 3 times. That's what I'm trying to do, right? And because I know that if I do that for everyone, because I know everyone's just an aspect of me, I know I'm going to be within a universe that's going to do that for myself. So, yeah, no, exactly. So not only do we open up the grocery stores, but we built the farm as well. Because now when it comes to our grocery stores, I want to farm all the food for that. So not only do I will build like a farm, and I'm not talking about just like little community farms or something like that. I'm talking about like a big farm. And then I'm not going to do like any machineries or stuff like that. No, those machines are stupid. Those machines are done. So we're going to I'm going to actually be hiring people to actually, to do that. And then, so now we have the grocery store, the farm and stuff like that. And now you have a nice place to get your fresh food. And then every month you have a check coming in. May not be a lot right now, but it's something coming in, right? And understand that while my company's built and my resources built, the institutions and the things that I'm going to be building out are going to be a lot. Because, yeah, okay, cool. I just told you about like a restaurant that I was going to bring out, right? Then I told you about a grocery store that I'm going to bring out. Then I told you about the farm. Well, guess what? What happens when that farm is going to eventually supply the food for not only the restaurant, but for the grocery store. Now, but when it comes to the grocery store, I'm not going to be using regular brands. We're just going to be coming out with our own stuff. And cool, every time I open up a restaurant, when it becomes popping, like, yo, this restaurant has this really good sauce, or this restaurant has this really good lemonade, or this restaurant has this really good type of food. Cool. That becomes the brand that I'm now selling at my restaurant. At my supermarket. Now, the sauces that you eat at the restaurant, yo, bro, you can just pick that up and go home and do it yourself. But now everything is still there, right? But then it's going to get even a little bit deeper than that, because once I get up to like that $20-30 million mark, then I'm building up my own bank. So now once I build that bank in that area, it's going to be different, because now all my businesses, all their money is going to go to that bank. So we're no longer funding the other entities that are trying to drain everybody else's. So the idea is to create an energy circuit and make it in a way that benefits for those around it. That way you create like a home base and energy patch, so people can kind of get it. So they can kind of resonate, and the frequency that they're giving off can enter into the collective consciousness and go on and go forth. So when I'm doing businesses, I'm practicing magic. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm practicing magic. Like, I'm practicing magic. I'm practicing magic. Practicing magic. I'm practicing magic. But when you understand magic is just the way energy works, when you understand that magic just comes from feeling, and when you understand that magic, or in the sense that I'm using, it's just the cosmic will of the universe, wherever you want to call it, the will of God, the will of this, because all I'm doing is talking about love and building for my community. All I'm talking about is because there's no reason for inflation is not real, right? There's no reason why, like the living wage, you should only be spending 30% of your yearly income or your yearly income on your living situation, right? But for people in New York and stuff like that, it's more like 50, 60%. That doesn't even leave you anything to build on because it doesn't do nothing. And your politicians or anything like that, they're not doing anything about it. Because now my question is this. Here's the thing, right? Every single person has to do what? They have to pay rent. Now, okay, maybe I'm a little ignorant to this, but I don't know about this. But does paying your rent have any effect on your credit score? Does it? Does paying your phone bill have any effect on your credit score? Your Netflix account, like... You understand that? There's so many things like, all right, cool. Okay, if everyone's having an issue, right? If everyone is having an issue with that, let's teach them the fundamentals. Let's teach them that what they should be doing. Let's teach them the difference between money and credit, right? Because those are two different things, but we'll view them as the same because they're interchangeable in what we can buy. Like, remember, anything that's coming from you, anything like that requires your energy, you always want to put it on that credit. Because all credit can do is get you stuff all it can do is be spent, right? Now, it can be used to be spent on things that can then turn to net you some income. Oh, that's definitely true, right? But now, since we're starting at the family level, we're not necessarily there yet. So the money that you're bringing in from your job, that's money. That can be used to grow. You never keep it in the bank because, like, realistically, the dollar that you have on Monday is probably not going to be worth the same on Friday, right? And then the materials that you wanted to buy on Monday, guess what? It's more expensive on Tuesday. So now that dollar's not even the same. So now that money that you're going to needs to be going into something that's actively getting you money, right? Because you have to view that money as a muscle. So that money has to go through, just like the spirit, that money has to go through an experience, right? So if money is the spirit, then the financial vehicle in which that money is going to, that is what? That is the temple. And the action that temple does, that is the action of what our temples do. So are we funding gods or are we funding devils, right? And stuff like that. Bro, it's very, very, very interesting when you look at it like that. But yes, community, family, wealth building, we're definitely ended up doing that. Ideally, it's like every house, every family is going to have like their own entity, similar to that of a corporation. So now that when we're dealing as a community, they're not coming to us like, oh, you're just one city, you're just one. Like, nah, bro, this is a community of entities. Just like America is a country of entities, because every city is a corporation, right? So guess what? You and your family, you're going to be no different than the city of New York. The city of New York. So that means if they ever give you a ticket, that capital is not going to be, oh, the city of New York versus little old this, that. Nah, bro. You guys are going to have a tribal name. You guys are going to have a nation name, a national name. Last name is Johnson. It's not going to be the city of New York versus, George Johnson. It's going to be the city of New York with their little capitals versus the nation of Johnson. And it's going to have your family sigil on there because we're going to copyright that. So anytime that a corporation wants to address us, they got to use our own brand. They got to use your own trademark. So that means anything that they do against you, they have to speak your divinity. Because your sigil, your crest is going to speak about your family's divinity, about your agency as a person. It's going to be different. Anytime that they come at you, they're going to have to express your mark. They're going to have to show your mark more than the American seal. Every time that they have that governmental seal, your seal is going to be there. Because now you guys are on equal ground. You're no longer a citizen with them. You are an entity versus entity. And you're an entity that's backed up by a plethora of other entities. We're a pantheon. That's what I'm building. Right?